does anyone. This is Larks. Janna was charmed by the rambling Victorian building perched on the side of a hill, its parkland crowded with trees. Phil kicked off by giving her a quick tour of the school, which was conveniently empty of challenging children because it was polling day at the local elections. All one needed for outside, reflected Janna, were a pair of secateurs and a mowing machine. The windows could be mended and unboarded, the graffiti painted over, and the chains, taps and locks replaced in the lavatories. The corridors and classroom walls were also badly lacking in posters, paintings and written work. She was disappointed that there were no children around, so no one could watch her taking a lesson. Instead, she was given post to deal with, and made a good impression by immediately tackling anything involving media and parents. She was also handed 2 budgets, and quickly identified why one was good, the other bad. She was aware of being scrutinised by the school secretary, Rowan Merton, who radiated disapproval. Janna was then whisked away to an off-site interview. Only as she was leaving the building did the heavens open, so she didn't appreciate in how many places rain poured through the roof. Janna was interviewed in a pub called the Ghost and Castle. In the Macbeth room, Larks governors awaited her. The chairman, Russell Lambert, introduced her to Crispin Thomas, Deputy Educational Director of S&C Services, a petulant, pig-faced blonde. Under a painting of the weird sisters from Macbeth, and infinitely more terrifying, quivered a woman with black hair and a twitching scarlet mouth. Appropriately named Cara Sharp, she was a teacher governor, supposed to present the concerns of the staff to the governing body.
Cara is our immensely effective head of English and drama, said Russell sycophantically. At the end of the row, the vice-chairman, Sir Hugo Betts, who resembled a camel on Prozac, fought sleep. Russell Lambert made no bones about the state of the school.
Larks is at rock bottom.
Well, then it can only go up, said Janna. Her audience knew that she'd been a crucial part of the team that had turned around disastrously failing Redfords. But then she'd been led by a charismatic head. If she took on Larks, she'd be on her own. She also seemed terrifyingly young. She had lots of freckles and rippling dark red hair, merry onyx-brown eyes, and a snub nose. She was small, about 5'1", and after the drenching of rain, her crocus-yellow dress clung enticingly to a very pretty figure. Phil Pierce asked her how she'd deal with an underachieving teacher. I'd involve the head of department and find out what's wrong. Is it discipline? Is it poor teaching? Then try and work it through. After this, he'd either succeed or fail. If the latter, he's not right for teaching, because the education of children is all that matters.
What are your weaknesses?
Snuffled Crispin Thomas from S&C. Janna laughed. Short legs and an even shorter fuse. But my strengths are that I adore children and I thrive on hard work.
The children can be challenging, said Russell Lambert.
I don't mind challenging children. I want to give every child and teacher the chance to shine and for them to leave my school with their confidence boosted to enable them to enjoy the world. Russell asked her to wait in an anteroom. Phil Pierce brought her a cup of tea. She was summoned back by Rowan, looking beadier than ever.
We've decided not to waste your time asking you to come for a second interview, announced Russell. We'd like to offer you the job.
Janna burst into tears as she babbled, "Oh, that's wicked fantastic! I promise to justify your faith. That's really wicked." Half an hour later on the steps, Janna was still thanking them. I'd like to walk to the station. I want to drink in my new town. But as she hadn't yet signed the contract, Russell, not risking Janna anywhere near the Shakespeare estate, steered her towards his rover. As they passed the offices of the Larkminster Gazette, a billboard announced Randall Stankom's latest plans for the area. "That greedy fat cat's got a stranglehold on everything," spat Janna.
Wearing my other hat, reproved Russell, as chair of the local planning committee, I can assure you Randall is a very good friend to Larkminster, not least because of the thousands of people he employs.
Feeling he'd been squashing, he then suggested Janna might like to ring her parents with news of her job. Mum passed away at Christmas. Janna paused. She would have been right proud.
And your father?
He left home. Couldn't cope with Mum being ill. She wasn't going to add that her father had been violent and had drunk the family penniless. Yorkshire was so full of painful memories. She'd be glad to make a fresh start. At half-term, she found herself an adorable 18th-century house called Jubilee Cottage. It was the last house in the small village of Wilmington, 3 miles from Larkminster, which had a pub, a shop, and a watercress-choked stream dawdling along the edge of the high street. From the middle of August, Janna was in and out of her new school, familiarising herself with everything, palling up with Wally Bristow, the site manager, who had wise grey eyes in a round, smiling face. He showed her Smokers, a steep, grassy bank down which the children vanished so that they could smoke, do drugs, drink, and shag unobserved by the staff room.
I don't want to frighten you, he said, but the kids are running wild. Most of them only come in to trash the place. The staff are either dinosaurs hanging on for retirement or commies who grumble at everything.
Wally also warned her of tricky teachers. Mike Pitts, the deputy head, who taught maths and drank, and Cara Sharp, who'd glared at Janna at her interview.
Cara's a bitch to the kids.
Not anymore, she won't be. Where are the playing fields?
They were sold off by the council. The rest of the land is on too much of a slope.
The sun revealed damp patches and peeling plaster in every classroom. The GCSE results out in late August had dropped to 4% of the pupils gaining A to C grades in 5 subjects. Only these gave Larks points in the league tables, and only Cara Sharp and Phil Pierce had got most of their children through.
Phil's a good bloke, said Wally. Firm, but fair. The kids love him.
Janna familiarised herself with classrooms, halls, gym, and labyrinthine corridors in the main building, which was known as School House. 50 yards away, the annex, known as Apple Tree because it had been built on the site of an old orchard, housed the labs, music, design and technology, and food technology departments. Then she pored over the children's personal files, trying to memorise the names before term began.
The ones you have to watch are those going into Year 9, and particularly the Wolf Pack, said Wally.
Janna was gazing down at a photograph of a beautiful black boy. Wally glanced over her shoulder.
He's Wolf Pack. Ferrell Jackson. Comes into school to play football and start fights. Mother's an addict. Uncle Harley, his mum's boyfriend, is a mega pusher. That's Ferrell's best mate, Paris Alverston.
Janna looked at the boy's ghostly face, the wonderful bone structure, the pale grey eyes.
Paris has been in care homes since he was 2. That's Griffith Williams, known as Graffy.
Wally pointed to a thick-set boy with black curls.
Don't stand anywhere near him or he'll graffiti you. That's Pearl Smith. Cuts herself. Got arms like ladders.
That one's pretty.
Kylie Rose. Already had one kid at 12. Wanted something to love. Those 5 make up the Wolf Pack.
Ferrell, Paris, Graffy, Pearl, and Kylie Rose, intoned Janna. Wally carried on with her lesson.
There are 3 more you want to watch from Year 9. Rocky's autistic. Nice kid, but violent if he don't get his Ritalin. More serious are Satan Simmons, a racist bully, and Monster Norman. Monster's even more of a bully, but his mother's a governor, so you can't touch him.
Wally also gave her a preview of the staff room. On the breakfast bar, untouched since the end-of-term party, were dirty wine glasses, moth-filled cups, and orange juice cartons. Beer cans littered the floor.